I have been putting off talking about the Red Wings for pretty much since their season started. And you know what? I've decided no more, no more, no more wasting time. We're going to actually talk some Red Wings. And I'm just going to start this off, question right off of the bat. Are you ready to say that the Yzerplan is actually working? Let me start with some of the positive, okay? Positive, all right, Red Wings in the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. 60 points after a really nice overtime win last night against Carolina. They're top of their division, top of their conference. As far as guys on their team, DeBrincat putting up a really good season. Lucas Raymond, another really good season. Dylan Larkin, the captain, another really good season. Mo Seider having an excellent season, probably his best season since his rookie year so far. That's all the positives. Even a guy like John Gibson, even to look at your goalie acquisition, you got two goalies with sub-3 GAAs. John Gibson, as much as I was unimpressed with bringing him in, he's been really good. And he's helped you a lot. He's got a 90 save percentage, 900 save percentage right now. That's really good. Like the guys on the team are performing really quite well. Now, here is your problem. Goal differential for the Red Wings is, well, not their strength. So right now they have a +4 goal differential. For comparison's sake, they are actually not very high. They are one of the only team that is below them that is not in the negatives is the Philadelphia Flyers with +1. So they are basically the lowest positive goal differential in the Eastern Conference. As far as where they are in the league, I guess I could look at that. Let's see. Where are they at in the league? They are the third positive goal differential team, ahead of Edmonton, to be fair. But overall, I think it's clear that goal differential is not their strength. They're winning games pretty tight. They're not blowing guys out. Or when they do lose, they get blown out. That sort of thing. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at was expected goal percentage. So I'm looking at some of these advanced stats, and I know some people their eyes are gonna glaze over. Just bear with me. Some of these advanced stats. So expected goals percentage. So this is especially important given the goal differentials. How many goals are you expected to score based on some of the other fancy metrics? Okay, where do the Red Wings rank on this stat? 21st. Not good. Not good. You're closer to the St. Louis Blues than you are to Pittsburgh or Florida. Or, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to use just Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay is another example. Tampa Bay is a very good team this year. Now, what about expected goal differential? So this is another thing that is going to be incredibly enlightening into quality of this team. Where do they rank on that? They also rank 21st. Once again, closer to St. Louis or New York, the Rangers, that is, than you are to Tampa Bay, to Colorado, to even Carolina, the team that you beat last time. The point I'm trying to make here is not that the Red Wings are just are not actually good. I think they are good. But they are very, very close to not being good, if that makes sense. Let me just go back and get the standings once again. So if they go on a losing streak of, say, 2-3 games, they could go from first place in their division and solidly, in the 1 seed to potentially the 2 spot in the wild card. if they lose 3 games in a row and some of these teams behind them start winning, namely Montreal or Tampa Bay, teams that they played more games than, by the way. That's the other thing that gives me some pause is Detroit has 47 games played, and they are just 1 point ahead of Tampa Bay, who's played 3 less games than you. Now, what I'll say is this. The players that you need to get some performance out of, namely the young players, namely the guys that you have been hedging all your bets on, Steve Yzerman, those guys are playing well. Lucas Raymond's playing well. Moritz Seider's playing well. Emmett Finney playing pretty good. Axel Sandin Pellikka playing pretty good. Now, granted, you go down the list in terms of guys that are not that amazing or not making that much of an impact, namely the Nate Danielsons of the world, or the Simon Edvinsons of the world, or the Marco Kaspers of the world. You know, in terms of offense, I know that there's more to what these guys do than just the points that they're getting. But I'm telling you, in a league where you need superstars to win, these guys aren't doing a whole lot for you in terms of elevating you to where you need to be. Also, by the way, shout out Michael Brandt-Signigaard. Solid 9 games out of him. That was fun. That was enjoyable. It was fun when we had like every jersey name was just like a billion characters long. But anyway, here's the concern. And you pointed, this is perfect. If they don't collapse after the Olympic break, they're going to make the playoffs. But win a series or take a series the distance, I don't know about that, Chief. This is my concern. Every year, they will collapse after the mid-season / late season break. So it's like if you want to, because last year it was the tournament. The year before that it was the All-Star break. And now we have the Olympic break, where some of these players, I don't know if they're going to be some players on our team. I'm sure, Seider or Raymond, I'm sure some of those guys might end up on their national teams. But, you're going to lose those players for, however long the Olympics is, 2 weeks or a week. I don't know exactly how long it is. If you come back and you start floundering like you did every single time, like, it's just, it would be perfectly emblematic of what this team has been, basically. And look, Steve Yzerman has the right to be able to rewrite how well he has done to this point. I have said, I've been pretty open that I thought going into the season I would have fired him because I just don't think he's been doing a good job. With that being said, he has the right to win his job back because they kept him. So he might as well try to win his job back. I will just say this. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, then there is no world where you can convince me that this is working or that we should allow for this to continue to happen. Because right now, you are in first place in your division. You are very highly, you have not an amazing cushion, but you have solidly stepped up to the plate all season long. You didn't collapse at all in December like you had in past years. You're playing consistently at this top level of the Eastern Conference. Whatever. If you have another trade deadline where you do absolutely nothing or do very little, that's a problem. But then if you come out of this Olympic break and you look like garbage, well, that's also a problem. So, as much as I obviously I want the Red Wings to win, I want them to make the playoffs more than anything in the world, just because every other team in the city has at least made the playoffs at some point. Can they just at least do that for us? Give us at least the hope that maybe they could finally end the championship drought in this city. Not saying that they will, but like just put them in one of the teams that can do it. This really is an interesting team because on the one hand, I pointed out some of their advanced numbers. They're not highly ranked in expected goal differential. They're not highly ranked in expected goal percentage. But yet, they keep winning games. And DeBrincat and Raymond and Larkin and Seider, all those guys are playing really well. So, if you're playing so well, if you want to prove that you're good enough, don't fall apart. Plain and simple. I think that's why I was waiting so long to talk about the Red Wings, was that basically my feelings are, well, don't fall apart. Like, that's just how it is. Hey, YouTube, if you like clips like that, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We've got live shows every Tuesday night. Hope to see you there.